Debate on first reading.
When we were last debating the legislation bill, the Honourable Marianne Street was speaking and has 3 minutes 30 seconds remaining if she so wishes.
Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Marianne Street.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When I was interrupted last day by the adjournment, I was talking about the need to take care with this legislation bill, and for the Select Committee that is studying it, whom I don't imagine will be swamped with submitters, but for the MPs on that Select Committee to pay careful attention to Part 3, which addresses subordinate legislation and disallowable instruments and incorporation of material by reference. Now, these are things that don't normally come in the direction of MPs on a day-to-day basis, except for those who have had the privilege of working on the Regulations Review Select Committee. Mr. Speaker, the Regulations Review Committee is the one that scrutinises regulations that are made by the executive of government, that is the Cabinet, and it is the only forum by which executive regulations are scrutinised. So normally, of course, we would have a piece of legislation that may be a government bill, a government measure, introduced to the House. We have a debate on it. It gets sent off to the Select Committee. It is then submissions are taken on that piece of legislation. The public is invited to contribute. Those views are taken into account by members of Parliament and the legislation amended accordingly, very often. But regulations are passed by Cabinet. They are given to the Governor-General for his, in this case, his assent, and there is an order in council made. A council of Cabinet Ministers meets with the Governor-General and the regulations are signed off. These regulations can appear to be trivial, but can have an enormous impact. The thing that is important is the level of scrutiny, Mr. Speaker, and it is that something can be done that affects the lives of New Zealanders that is not exposed to the scrutiny of Parliament. And this Regulations Review Committee and the ability to disallow regulations, that is, to contravene, well, there is only one word for it, to disallow, to stop those regulations from taking effect, is the only mechanism that is available to the House in order to address what some MP might consider to be an unfairness or some kind of wrong against citizens of this country. So it is a fundamental part of our democratic structure and make-up, Mr. Speaker, and in that respect it should be attended to with great care and great caution by the members of the Select Committee considering this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.